contentment, freed from the fire of exhaustion, freed from the fire of not getting what one likes, freed from the fire of clinging on to the Panch Upadhana Khanda.
Alert from Google Chrome, red circle, Ariya.
Or 5 aggregates, filled with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. May I and all beings in all world be freed from the suffering of samsara, freed from the disease of samsara, freed from the fear of samsara, freed from the fire of samsara, freed from the burning of samsara, freed from the sorrow of samsara, freed from the lust of samsara, freed from the clutches of samsara, filled with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana, filled with the ultimate bliss of Nibbana. The sensual worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be freed from the sensual worlds. The form worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be free from form worlds. The formless worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be freed from the formless worlds. All worlds are in despair. May I and all beings be free from all worlds. Nibbana is the only salvation. May all beings attain Nibbana. Letting go is the only salvation. May I and all beings let go. Detachment is the only salvation. May I and all beings be detached. Being freed is the only salvation. May I and all beings be freed. Nibbana is the only salvation. May I and all beings attain Nibbana. May I and all beings in all worlds be freed from the bondage of lust, freed from the bondage of aversion, freed from the bondage of delusion, free from the bondage of Mara, healed with the eternal bliss of Nibbana, healed with the eternal bliss of Nibbana, healed with the eternal bliss of Nibbana. With this karmasthana, may all beings find peace and happiness. The ultimate peace is Nibbana. May all beings be free. With this, let me start a continuation of the Girimananda Sutta and also Pena Pinduppama Sutta, which I had started last week. Before that, I would like to submit my sincere gratitude to the Buddha, Dhamma and Sangha, without which I would not have been able to do this discourse in English. And also thank everyone for this opportunity to share the experience and see how one can attain Nibbana. We all can take this journey together and see how we can remove the asavas or the fermentations and also the anushaya kleshas, the hidden sleeping impurities which we have together brought into this samsara in various lives, in various forms. And we've been suffering in this samsara for a long time. It's our fortune that we have been given this opportunity to engage ourselves in the Buddha Dhamma, which is the only refuge for us to move from helpless state to a state where we can attain the final liberation. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami. Dhammam saranam gacchami. Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddham Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammam Saranam Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sangham Saranam Gacchami. Samanta Chakravalesu Atra Gacchantu Devata Saddhammam Munirajasa Sanantu Saggamoggadam Dhammasavanakalo Ayam Bhadanta Dhammasavanakalo Ayam Bhadanta. Dhammasavanakalo Ayam Bhadanta. So let us continue our discussion of the last week. Last week we looked at Anicca Sanya, wherein we looked into what is Rupa, what is Vedana, what is Sanya, Sankhara and Vijnana. For those listeners who could not listen to the DESHANA last week due to interruptions in the recording of YouTube and Facebook, so I got feedback that there were a lot of gaps in the recording, or it was seemingly there was some disconnections. So let me cover some of those portions before we move further. I will summarize in 10-15 minutes about the Anicca Sanya. So to understand the Anicca Sanya, it is also good to investigate upon the Pena Pindupama Sutta. Once Buddha and his disciples were going through the Ganges river at Ayodhya, and Buddha wanted to explain about the Rupas, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, which are the 5 building blocks for a person to feel I exist, I am. So the name is given to the body. So with Rupa, which we create in our mind, and also there is Rupa which is existing outside. So if we were to see it, what Buddha explains is that when we see a Rupa which seems to be full of essence, for a normal being, the form is a very important aspect for the person. But if we were to investigate, it looks like a foam. So he says, Pena Pindupamam Rupam. So the 6 Rupa or the 5 Rupas what we have as the senses which gets into the senses as Indriya, the Rupa of eye, the ears, the nose, the tongue, the touch, and the smell. Considering these five, if we were to see, it is like a foam. So if we see a foam on a beach, or if we see a foam, let us say we take a shaving gel and then we have this foam. So if you were to hold it in your hand, the foam, there is a movement, and that is how our body is moving all the time, but it is moving at a very slow pace, giving an impression that this body is firm. So the Rupa which is generated in the mind is the images, the idols, or the image or the picture which is created based upon the interest what we had. The interest is created due to our habit patterns. So from the childhood we would have created certain pattern, and the previous lives also we would have created a pattern. So both the patterns coming together of past, present and future, we create these forms in our mind, and we search for the same form outside. As soon as we get a matching, we feel very happy, but that is temporary in nature because it is like a foam, it keeps on changing. Based upon what we are seeing, what we are feeling, what we are touching, what we are tasting, what we are smelling, and what we are thinking, there is a particular feeling which comes in. So we try to catch to that feeling. We want that feeling again and again. Let us say we go to a hotel and we have a coffee. The first time, the smell, the aroma of the coffee incites passion into the being. Actually, the form does not want to have coffee. It's a mind which would like to enjoy the coffee. Body has no idea about the coffee. The mind has the chitta, which is part of the mind, has a conditioning for or liking for the coffee. So person A likes coffee and person B does not like coffee because they are relative or they are subjective in nature. If a person has never had coffee in his life, he doesn't know what is the taste of coffee. But if a person has been drinking coffee for a long time, he has developed the taste of the coffee. So once he has the taste of the coffee, he would like that registered item to be presented to him in the outside world. So what Buddha explains there is, the Vedana is like a bubbles, that is the raindrops. When it falls on the surface, it creates a vibration or the kampana. Due to this vibration, there is a certain feeling which arises in the mind. So the mind door will sense it and say that, this is the one which I wanted. For that, it requires sanya or the perception. So unless we had a coffee earlier, there is no perception of the coffee. So let us say person B is being introduced to coffee for the very first time. There is no registration of the coffee, so there is no feeling at that time. He is investigating, which is the perception. He is trying to create a perception. So he will ask his friend who is wanting him to drink coffee that what it is and how it is, whether with milk, without milk, with sugar, without sugar, how does it taste. So let us say A is supposed to explain to B how the coffee is. So can he be able to explain? Even though both are seeing the same Rupa, but it is not possible. So rupa, that is what is seen in the eye, does not get transformed into a taste. It is the the rasa rupa. The ghana rupa, or the smell, is created by the nose of A. He knows it is a coffee smell, but B doesn't have any smell towards coffee. So he does not know what is he going to have. So he has lot of investigation, he has lot of questions. So what A has to ask him to do is to taste it. The first time he tastes it, he might like the coffee, he might not like the coffee, or he might be neutral to the coffee. So these are the three conditions which exist as a Vedana. There is Sukha Vedana, there is Dukkha Vedana, there is Asukha Adukha Vedana. So this is common in everything we do. So anything we do for the very first time, there is a Sukha Vedana, Dukkha Vedana, Adukha Sukha Vedana, based upon what the Rupa which is being given at that time, because that Rupa has never existed if it is the first time. So the person now creates the Rupa. So after having the coffee, he starts liking. When we say liking, it means he has created a upadana for that taste. Now comes tanha. Tanha means the attachment to that. So because he is clinging or holding on to that taste, which is just based upon the Rupa, now he will do anything to get that taste back, and that is what is called as Nissaranaye. Whereas what we see in the world is Anicca Sanya. Anicca is nothing can be kept in a consistent way to one's liking, because it is a mental feeling, it is not a physical one. It is a feeling, and feeling varies from person to person, object to object, situation to situation. So everything goes in a flux, or there is a movement. So it is highly impossible to maintain anything at a consistent motion, and that is what we would like to do. So we would like to do something in such a way that it is held constant. So I can give you another example which happened a few hours ago. So I had gone to a mobile service provider, asking him to change a plan, because he was suggesting me there is a plan which will reduce the billing and it will be an advantage to the customer. So why don't you change the plan? Now you see, at that time the Rupa has not been formulated, so I have no idea what this plan is. Then he showed me a brochure, and in the brochure there is a mention about what this plan is all about. So I feel excited about that plan. So then I ask him questions, and then he narrates me what all is advantage. So I have a now perception created that this plan needs to be changed. So this executive at the mobile store or the service provider then asked me to install an application on my mobile, which will then give me all the details of what that plan is all about. So I feel very happy about it, because I feel this Rupa, now what is generated in my mind, that it is beneficial. I am trying to get that enjoyment right now. And then he says it will take 24 hours for it to get changed. So then I have a Dukkha Vedana. Why this Dukkha Vedana? Because I have to wait for 24 hours. That means I have to suffer first to get what benefit I wanted to have. It cannot happen instantly. But then he also said it will take 4-5 hours, so you can try it out. And then after a few visits to that store, in my mobile, it started working. I'm very happy now because it started working. Because the Rupa, what I wanted to generate outside, is now generated. So it is matching the internal Rupa what I wanted. So now I have a Nissaranaye created with mind. Now there is an add-on card to that which I had given it to my wife, and then that mobile for some reason is not configured or is not set in a proper way. So now I have on my mobile, I have a Sukha Vedana, but when I look at my wife's mobile where it is not working, I have a Dukkha Vedana. This is created because of the Rupa. The Rupa, what I have in my mind is that these are the benefits by changing the plan. So now in my mind it is registered as Nissaranaye now. That means I can maintain the happiness forever. That's what the shopkeeper said to me. Here is the happiness. So I have two choices. I can get upset, or I can then take certain action of talking to them. So whatever the case may be, I might be calling the service providers, call center and all that. But the question is, what is my internal feeling? Whether I am feeling it as Nissaranaye or I am feeling it as Anissaranaye. So Pena Pindupama Sutta gives a perfect example for us to test it on every aspect of life we face moment after moment. So the form or the Rupa is like a foam, a lump of foam, whereas the Vedana is like bubbles or raindrops falling on a floor, which create certain vibration. Mirage is like the sanya or the perception. So if we go to a desert, it seems like there is some oasis or there's some water far away. So the person feels that there is something there, and goes there's nothing. So the sanya is exactly like that. So this sanya what I had about a coffee, the sanya what I have about this mobile service provider giving me benefit is like that, is like a mirage. That is, I go behind it, it might seem that I'm getting it, but it doesn't really get into it because I cannot duplicate it, the feeling. But what I want is to duplicate the feeling all the time. That is, the first time I had coffee, it tasted very well, but the second time I have the same coffee, it does not. Why? Because our ability to taste reduces as we keep on having it more and more. Similarly, if we were to hear music, the first time we hear the music, we like it. The second time, third time, fourth time, fifth time, 10th time, if you hear the same music, you dislike it. You don't want it. So that is how our liking keeps on reducing by frequently doing the same activity, and that's the reason we search something to keep on doing different activities so that we can maintain the happiness. Actually, what we are behind is pleasure in the name of happiness. There's never any happiness in any sense object or the experience what we have using our senses. Since we are addicted to senses, we feel that pleasure is happiness, and so we go behind pleasure seeking for happiness. So if you see some of the car manufacturers, they put on the back side of the car, happiness reloaded, happiness redefined, happiness being there, this is happiness, that is happiness. So we have made a way to define objects as happiness, and then people go behind it to acquire. So once we acquire the Rupa, we then verify whether it is matching to our expectation which is there in our mind. As long as it is matching, we feel very happy. As soon as it doesn't match, we feel sad. Why? Because we went behind the pleasure, and every pleasure has a pain behind it. So that is the core of Buddha's teaching, and that is very evident in the Pena Pindupama Sutta as well as the Girimananda Sutta. So coming back to this, once we have Vedana and the Sanya, then the Sankhara is like a plantain. So the plantain looks thick. The base and the trunk of the plantain looks very thick. It seems that it has some sense, some essence. So Lasanta, can you please mute your microphone?
Yeah.
Okay. So now when we see the plantain and then we keep on removing skin, after some time we will find that there is nothing there. But it looked as though something is there. So all our sankhara looks like that. That whatever we are doing has something in there. But actually what we are doing is that with every sankhara, be it a mano, Vachi Sankhara, Kaya Sankhara, in all of these types of Sankhara, we are just registering something which becomes memory later. And that is the reason Buddha says every Sankhara is Attiyati, Harayati, Jigucchati, because it is like a bone being held, saying that there is an essence in the bone. And then Harayati is, there is something, not only it is essence, it also has some value, there is some benefit. And then Jigucchati is that it's ultimately like urine and feces. So all our sankhara, whatever we do, punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, ananjabhi sankhara, any one of these we do, will ultimately land up into attiyati, harayati, jigucchati, because after that action has been done, there is no way you can go back and undo it. That is not possible. There is no way to promise that I am going to redo it, because that is also not confirmed. And we cannot promise that we can keep on doing it all the time. It seems like we can do it, but that is what the Nitya Sanya is all about. But in reality, we cannot 100% say that we will do it. Just like this sermon or the discourse or the Deshana, what I am doing, I cannot really promise that week after week I will be doing. There are various factors which are coming into force, and that is the reason I am able to do this Deshana. Number one is that there is somebody who is organizing it. It's not I am organizing it. There is somebody who is taking trouble to organize it. And there are people who are interested into hearing it, and there is an internet connection between the place where it is organized and the place where I am doing this Deshana. And the environment is really conducive enough to do the Deshana. Since all of these factors are coming into consideration, it is Sankata. If any one of these factors does not match, becomes Viparinama Dukkha immediately. So now what we have done is that we have created an environment where this seems to be a reality. So we have done we have taken the trouble, and that is Sankhara Dukkha. And to create an environment, we have to take the trouble itself, that is the Dukkha Dukkha. So we always in life have Dukkha Dukkha, there is Sankhara Dukkha, there is Viparidama Dukkha happening all the time. Be whatever we want to do, these three are going to be there. So the anicca here is that anything can change, anything can happen, and there is no need, there is no guarantee that it will work to someone's expectation. The place where I am doing the Desana, it is presently we had rain. So let us say the power goes away or the internet goes away, then it is anicca. So, but I had a nicha in my mind. I thought that it will last forever. So now the organizers might not even know that I am not able to do the Desana. So the Sankhara, what we are doing, is not guaranteed either. So in that way, it is attiyati hara iti juguchati. So Buddha compares that to a plantain, the stem of the plantain where there is no essence. And finally, like a magician, the Vijnana is the one which is experiencing it. So if I were to say that I am doing this Desana, it's a feeling what I am getting that I am doing it. So basically based upon the knowledge what I have gained, which is can be an intellectual knowledge, can be a combination of intellectual and an experiential knowledge, or whatever it could be called, is part of the Sanya plus Vedana. Sanya plus Vijnana. The English word for Vijnana is consciousness, but actually it is V plus Jnana. Jnana is the wisdom or the knowledge. V is removed of wisdom. So presently, the Vijnana what I am holding has started from Chitta state to the Vijnana Khanda. So that means I have already a little bit of corruption from the time the Chitta started. The Chitta is started as a pure Chitta. But now I have a liking or a dislike or a neutral or whatever kind I am having at present when I am doing this Desana. So let us say I have liking to Girimananda Sutta. But somebody might not like Girimananda Sutta, he might like some other Sutta, let us say. Then what happens? My Chitta is already contaminated from Chitta to Mano to Manasan. That is what the Arhats will be having, but going further we will have the Hadayan and Pandaran and Mano Indriyan, Manayatanan, Vijnana and Vijnana Khanda. So we have gone through all of those by the time I am speaking to you. So it has got corrupted or it has got contaminated with the asavas. Asavas are the fermentation which is happened because of the gati, which is nothing but the habit pattern what we have done or the characteristics of the person. So the person always looks at doing something which he or she likes. So the liking is the one which wants it to be eternal all the time. And this eternal gives a self view, that is, I exist. And this I is the one which is having all kind of contamination based upon what this person wanted it to be as a personality or an entity. So what Buddha explains in the Girimananda Sutta in terms of the Anicca Sanya is that Rupa Anicca, Vedana Anicca, Sanya Anicca, Sankhara Anicca and Vijnana is Anicca. Because this Vijnana, which is the experiencer, is experiencing a wrong information because the perception or the Sanya gave that I intellectually, and that is where the thinking is. So the perception is a wrong perception and it gave to a wrong Sanya. Wrong Vijnana, based upon the feeling that is the Vedana, and the person does the Sankhara. Now everything is corrupted and all that has happened because of the Rupa. So in this world, if we look at Abhidhamma, then you have Rupa, you have Chitta, Chetasika, Nibbana. There's the four ultimate. So in that we are talking now about Rupa, and the conditioned things are the Vedana, Sanya and Sankhara, and the one which causes everything to appear and disappear is the Vijnana. Because that is what the person feels, I and it is mine and this is what it is. So all the concepts, all the conditioning that this is what exists, this is what does not exist has happened due to Vijnana. So in one, just one sutta, Buddha is able to explain very nicely what happens when the person gets attached to the anicca, whatever is anicca, he is getting attached as nicca. So he says, iti imeshu panchasu upadana khandeshu anicca anupassi viharati ayam vucchatananda anicca sanya. That means these five, clinging to this five or holding for this five khandas makes it panchupadana khanda dukkha. So that is where the dukkha comes, because of the rupa, the feeling what is generated, and I hold to the feeling because of the Vedana, without the Sanya, the perception what I had on that Vedana, and the Vedana and Sanya creating an urge for the person to act, to hold it either through Mano Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara and Kaya Sankhara. So let us say, again going back to the coffee, the first time the aroma came and the nose door opened up with this smell, and immediately the perception, the sanya goes and tries to acquire information through the vijnana. The vijnana is now able to go through the namagotta and find out where you had this coffee. So it brings back that information to the sanya, and there is immediately the vedana and the sanya will go together, making this person go to that shop or to that restaurant or to the place to buy a coffee. And his expectation now is that whatever he had in his mind is the one which is the rupa which is there as coffee. Now what is he really seeing? He is seeing just water, coffee beans, that is the roasted coffee. Then there is grinding machine which will grind that coffee, grind the coffee beans. Then there is chicory which is added to make it even more better. And then there is sugar. Then there is milk. These are five individual things which are there as coffee. There is no coffee as coffee. If you don't add any one of these, it cannot be called as a coffee. So the coffee bean smell created an urge for this person to go and have coffee, and since he had a coffee earlier, the memory has picked it up for A, whereas there is no memory at all for B because he never had a coffee. So for him it is first time. So there is no registration. So if he were to ask the B that what is coffee, he says I don't know. But for A, he knows this is coffee. So A is going to explain to B what is coffee. So once he registers what is coffee, next time A doesn't have to explain to B about coffee, B himself knows what is coffee. But the taste what B had is totally different than the taste what A had. And they both might fight over that coffee, because what A is finding is not what B is finding, or what B is finding is not what A is finding. And that is where this vijnana is creating that kind of a sensation, that is the Vedana, wrong Sanya, wrong Sankhara, and equally wrong Vijnana on a particular Rupa. So this is the way to understand everything in this world which is conditioned, which is Sankata. When we say Sankata, it is a conditioning, and every conditioning goes through a process of Uppada Titi Bhanga. That is, it has arising and it is stays for some time and it passes away. So coffee smell arises, stays for some time and goes away. So after the first time we had the smell, the second time the smell is not felt at all. So what the mind has done is to reproduce the same smell again and again and again till the person finishes the coffee. Same thing with food. Same thing if you were to see a movie or some object which is coming, and same thing if we were to hear some sound. Same thing with touch. So after the chitta state, when it comes to mano state can be considered like if you see a human body, if you are only looking at the legs, there is no way you can see the middle portion and the head portion, or from chest above. If you are seeing the middle portion, you cannot see the neck and the head portion or the leg portion. If you are seeing only the eyes or the face of the person, you cannot see the other part of the body at all. So this is mano. Whereas if you look at manasan, that is the one where it adds all of these three together and says that whether it is a male or a female based upon the sanya. The sanya is a major important element which says that this is a male, this is a female. So in Arhat Mahanse, what happens here is that it only stops at the manasan state. He will recognize it as a male or a female, but he will not have any interest to say that this is my wife, this is my girlfriend, this is my mother, this is my so and so, this is my sister, this is so and so. Or she looks so pretty, she does not look pretty, she looks dark, she looks white, she looks colorful, her dress is not good, or whatever it is, can be for a male or can be female, but that doesn't arise in the chitta of an arhat. But for a pottujana, to a sotapanna, to sakadagami, to anagami, this might, not to anagami, at least to sakadagami and sotapanna, this will arise. But the only difference for a sotapanna is that he knows what he is doing is not right, because he has understood what is the stage after manasan, which is hadayan, that is he or she would have a liking towards it. So every time I as a person who is looking into an object, if I am able to see that it is just a combination of this Panch Upadana Khanda, that means I have understood Buddha Dhamma, which is nothing but a state of Sotapanna. So what Buddha wanted to explain here in terms of the Girimananda Sutta, where Girimananda was sick. So listening to this on Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, it is very easy now to say, who is I? There is no I. Why there is no I? Because this only combination of Pancha Skandha or Pancha Khanda, for which I am having this clinging or holding on, or I want it. So this wanting as a feeling is the one which is called as upadana, for which I have tanha, which means I have an attachment to that wanting. So avidya and tanha are the two things which causes this I or the self view to exist. And once we see that it is nothing but these five aggregates, then that interest goes away. Now we'll move further into the Anatta Sanya. This is very nice one and very heart-filling. So let me try to explain in the best way, because this is what it means by I am. This is mine. This is where my entity is. This is my home. This is my place, this is my laptop, this is my so and so, this is what I am doing as DESHANA. All of this, the identity what we create, apart from the anicca, is anatta. So what are these anatta? So Buddha uses a very nice explanation on how does a person see anatta. So the usual meaning of Rukka Mula Gatova, Aranya Gatova, Rukka Mula Gatova, Sunyagara Gatova. So Aranya Gatova, the usual translation is going to the forest, but it's not Aran, it is not Aranya, it is Aranna. Ranna is war. So what are we at war with? We are at war with the Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. We want to see the whatever we want to see. We want to touch what we like to touch. We want to taste what we have liking for a taste. We want to smell something which we really like to smell. We don't like to smell what we don't like. So these five basic senses become ayatana, that is the faculty. Once it becomes a faculty, there is a liking, disliking and neutral tendency towards anything we do. Let us say I go to a particular place. In that place, whatever is explained in the brochure, I am looking at whether those things are there or not. If I go to a hotel to stay, the hotel catalog says that these are the facilities what you're going to get. So I'll go and see whether those facilities are there or not, because I have a liking to enjoy that. So this enjoyment is the happiness, which is the pleasure finding, and this pleasure is happiness, and this pleasure is the one which creates a feeling that I am enjoying. So Aranya Gatova is that I am at war in searching for happiness or the enjoyment in this Panchaskandha. Aranya Gatova is a person who is not at war. He knows or she knows that this feeling and the perception, the action, which is nothing but sankhara, and the consciousness, which is the vijnana, which is the experiencer, is nothing but a combination of various factors which have come into force, which is sankata. This is conditioning, or which is this conditioning has been caused due to hetuphala, or cause and effect. So if I were to know that one, so then there is no ranna, that is, I am not at any war in search of this Panchaskandha. Rukka Mula Gatova is a root of a tree, but here it is root cause of the problem. What is the problem? My problem is attachment to these five aggregates. Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. So let us say I am going from a place A and going to a place B. Let us say I go to New York. What is that I am doing? I am seeing Rupa Vedana Sanya Sankhara Vijnana. A different one, a different kind of human beings. Color is different. The buildings are different, but it is basically what it is. The Rupa consists of what? It consists of Pathavi, Apo, Tejo, Vayo and Akasa. These are five. But the four major aggregates or the four major dhatu. So we have Pathavi Dhatu, we have Apo Dhatu, we have Tejo Dhatu, we have Vayo Dhatu. What else would be there in the building? What else will be there in the floor? What else would be there in the road? What else will be there as a car? What else will be there as a table? What else will be there as a marble? Or whatever we see in this world is only these four basic elements. And then for that we have Upada Rupa. What are these? We have smell, we have color, okay, we have nutritive essence, that is, and then we have sound. What else you think we would see anywhere? So if I go to New York, I am going to hear certain sounds, I'm going to have certain smell, I'm going to have certain nutritive essence in wherever it is, in the air, in the water, in the fire, the space, on that floor. What else do I see? So if I go to a place where rice is being cultivated, again it has the same nutritive essence consisting of all of these. And then I have color. Black and white is also a color as far as the chakku goes. So I have an attachment towards something in that. So from New York I'll fly to, let us say, Denver, which is in Colorado. It has a lot of mountain ranges. So what is the difference between going from location A, that is New York, to location B, Denver? It's the same, but it looks different to me because I have a liking towards that. Let us say I don't like mountains, then I hate the mountains. So Rukkamula Gatova is going to the root cause of the problem. The root cause is that an attachment to these five senses and the five aggregates and four basic elements, or the combination of elements which makes up the matter or the rupa. So now because of this rupa, I am having a certain feeling, certain perception and certain action what I am taking to enjoy using the vijnana. So after I do the arannagatova, that is, now I am understood what these five aggregates are going to do to me, and I've understood the basic aspect of the root cause of the problem, then my mind is shunya, that is, it's not agitated. People misunderstand this to be shunyagata. Shunyagatova means you should go and stay in an empty cell, which is madness. We should be empty in the mind, not in the rupa. So I cannot create an empty space. That is, I construct a room and then I sit there and do what? But my mind is filled up with all the desires, all the rupa, all the vedana, all the sanya, all the sankhara, all the vijnana which is going on forever. What would I do sitting in an empty room? It's of no use. So what Buddha says is that, please make it something like Arannagato Rukkamulagato Shunyagaragatova Iti Pati Sankichati. Pati is to bond. San is combination of Raga, Dvesha, Moha. Kichati, Ka Ichati. That is, he knows to which one he is interested in. Icha. So this liking is the one which creates an impression that we can have full control of whatever we are doing. But actually the world is made out of anatta, because each person creates his own world, his own loka. And how does he create loka? He creates through his chakku, the eye consciousness. For chakku to happen, there should be a rupa. So in the pasada rupa, pasada is the internal rupa which is there in the hadaya vattu. Chakku is created and destroyed based upon the rupa what is coming up. So the physical eye is not the one which is seeing. The mental eye is the one which is seeing based upon the interest what it has. So it can have a liking, it can have a disliking, it can have a neutral. So for chakku to arise, you need to have a rupa. Without a rupa, chakku cannot arise. Same thing with sota. For the sota to arise, the ear consciousness to arise, there should be a shabda or a sad. In Pali it is sad, in Sanskrit it is shabda. So without hearing any sound, there is no ear consciousness at all. Without any rupa appearing in front of the eye, there is no eye consciousness. If somebody were to sit in a dark room and there is nothing being shown to him or her, his rupa is only internal rupa, there is no external rupa at all. Until unless an external rupa come into contact, there is a phassa. Then only the internal I gets created, and then he compares between what he knows in the mind and what he is seeing outside, and then there is this liking, there is disliking, and also there is neutral feeling. So without the chakku, without the sota, there cannot be any feeling. For feeling to arise, there should be some perception. The perception is coming from the mind, and the feeling is coming based upon what he or she is seeing or hearing or touching or tasting and all of that. So there is no soto. Soto is the ear, inside ear in the pasada rupa. So the sotam anatta, sadda anatta. That is, you cannot, or I cannot, I as a person which is basically the combination of panchaskandha, for which I am having an upadan or an attachment, cannot create anything to one's liking. Not at all possible. I cannot create an I to like or dislike the way I want it to like outside. Not possible. I can only have a feeling based upon what I am seeing. So that means I am anatta. Anatta is no control, helplessness. Why helplessness? Because I cannot create to one's liking. That is anatta. So there's two brilliant explanations by Buddha is that one side is anicca, another side is anatta. And considering that we can have a continuity is dukkha. That is where the dukkha comes into existence, the pain. To maintain something which cannot be maintained causes the dukkha. So if one were to understand that no matter what one does cannot maintain it forever, the chakku cannot be maintained because the rupa cannot be maintained. The sota cannot be maintained because the shabda cannot be maintained. That is, I cannot say what sound should come to me, not possible. There can be 100 different sounds. I might have a liking for some sound. But I cannot really say that I like this sound, I don't like that sound, I want it to be this way, I don't want it to be that way. That is my mental agitation or pelima. And this is where I get into vexation or a pelima because I want it to be the way it should be. So when I say my room should be neat and tidy, it is in my mind it is neat and tidy, but outside it is not. So what I do everything to keep it in the way I want it to keep it, but whereas my wife might come and say, why did you keep it here? It looks so ugly. I'll say, no, this is what I like. So my chakku, my sota, my ghana, my jiva, my rasa, my pottabha, my mano is not to what I can have control with. So this my and I and my and I am and this is mine, this is I am, this is mine is the combination of the panchaskandha for which we have these five things which are going up and down all the time, giving the person a feeling that he is doing or she is doing it. So This is the basic thing that we need to know, is that the Rupa, what we see out of Chakku, is an individual experience based upon the Gati, based upon the Chitta, based upon the Kamma. So it has its own ahara, or the food. So we have a mental food, we have a physical food. The physical food is what we eat, for the body will take care of itself to a certain extent. But the mental food is the one we are most interested in, and that is the reason we want to keep it the way we want it, or the person wants it. So the anatta here is that you cannot keep it in the way you want to keep it. It will go through viparinama. It will always, if not viparinama, it will have parinama. That is, there is always something will keeps on moving or changing, because the external rupa, the external shabda, the external gandha, the external touch, or the pottabha, the external mano, is totally different than the internal. So the pottabha is an internal one, whereas the kaya, the body, is external. So whatever we are seeing outside is not exactly what is there inside, and that is what causes dukkha. And since we cannot maintain it the way we want it, because we don't have any control, the dukkha increases. So we have to first have a dukkha, that is, we liking it creates dukkha. Once we liked it, it comes to us, then we have to maintain it, which is sankhara dukkha. And while maintaining it, it can change in an unpredictable way. So it is viparinama dukkha. So an example which I was giving you is that yesterday I went to the mobile shop for change of plan, so that is dukkha. I did an action, that is sankhara dukkha, but they did not work the way I expected to be, so it is viparinama dukkha. So I created something as dukkha now. So now I am having dukkha vedana. So this dukkha vedana can be physical dukkha vedana, which is also experienced by the arhat, but arhat doesn't have a mental vedana. That is do manasa. He doesn't have manasa, whereas I might have do manasa because it is not working the way it is. So where did I go wrong? I went wrong in the chakku. I went wrong in the sota. I went wrong in, not in ghana. There is no smell of the store. I liked it or disliked it. So there is no ghana being created. And there is no jiva. There is no taste. I don't have to taste the store. So no taste. But what all did I have? I have chakku, I have sota. The person spoke to me and convinced me that this package is good for you, and there is a chakku because I liked it. I saw the brochure, whatever he showed me, I felt, oh, very nice. I never knew that. Oh, very good. Now what happened? The dhamma. So I had a kama chanda immediately appearing in me. Okay, go ahead and take it. So mano will have dhamma, and dhamma can have this pancha nivarnas. It can have kama chanda, it can have vyapada, it can have thina, midha, it can have uddhacha, kukkucha, and visiki icha. So these are the 5 nivarnas which can exist as dhamma. How do I know it? It is there in the Mahasatipatthana Sutta, where Buddha explains what dhamma is. So in the mano, based upon the chitta can have a raga or dvesha or moha, whatever the chitta is coming. So I had a raga. So ragam va So now my chitta is filled with saraga, that is with raga. Of what? Of whatever I am hearing and whatever I am seeing. The chakku and the sota. So I got what? Rupa. I looked at the rupa, the brochure or the catalog or whatever is printed. And what did the person do? He convinced me through what? Sota. So there is shabda. So I had a liking for that. So to get that into operation, then the hetu phala has to work. So there are conditions which have to happen. So the conditions are not in my control. Not at all in my control. It depends on the mobile operator. And the operator said he has already done it. But when I see it on my mobile, it doesn't. So what happens? Now I have a viparinama dukkha. Now to get rid of the viparinama dukkha, I have to do another dukkha of calling the call center, talking to them. So the entire day today I have gone and spent in calling the executives and talking to them why this is not working. Now, shouldn't I do this? I should, but I should do it in a way which will not cause a mental strain on me. That is, I should do it with an understanding that everything in this world is either anicca or anatta. So then there is no dukkha. I am just doing it because as a kamma vipaka, not as a new kamma or new abhisankhara getting created. If I am doing abhisankhara, then I am extending the rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana. If I am doing it as a kamma vipaka, yes, I went and spoke to them, that is reality, yes. The catalog said it is good for the customer because my bill was coming higher, so this person suggested, why don't you take this plan, it will lower your cost. Very nice, I am very grateful to him. May he be happy, may he do well. So if I were to say that, my mind doesn't have saragam va chittam. It will have viragam va. That is no raga. I'm just doing it because I have to do it. So then I'm not expecting anything to happen. If it happens, it's good, very nice. If it doesn't happen, so be it. So what I'm supposed to do, just find out why it is not working. So I'm not getting into vyapada or patigh. So pati is to bond, gha is to gharshana, or have a feeling of irritation or a conflict. Gharshana is conflict. So patigh, conflict with whom? Conflict with another rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana, which is craziness. So I as one being talking to another being which is nothing but rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana. If I were to another human being, it is another rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana. So everybody is a rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana. And each has their own gati, each has their own chitta, each has their own kamma. So I cannot do anything about it. Can I do anything about it? There is no way I can do anything about it. So I can only find out, just to satisfy the vipaka, I as born as a human being in the human realms of existence, I can just work to whatever I am supposed to be working and not get carried away by really feeling that this is what I am doing. No, this is not I am doing. If I say I am doing, it becomes combination of rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana, which is equivalent to what another person will say, this is what I am doing. Look, I am taking your complaint and we are working on it. What is he doing? He is again doing rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana. He is the input given to him through sota. So the sota got created because of the shabda. So I spoke to him, became shabda. Then I explained to him. When I say I explained, again it is sota. So there is only word coming, there is only sound. But his mind is adding all of those things up. How it is he adding? Based upon my temperature. Temperature as in what? As in Tejo. That is, how much, with what excitement am I speaking? If I am speaking with a high pitch, when I say high pitch, that means I am angered. When I say angered, that is, the body is now changed. The rupa is now changed to a different rupa, wherein lot of energy is expended, and that energy goes to that other person, and he feels irritated with that energy, and then he or she will not like it. So their voice also will go up. Now, since they are into call center, they have been told not to get irritated at the customer. So they will try to pacify, they will try to cool down. But they have taken the same rupa inside and they are boiling. So what happens when they go home? They blast it on somebody else. This is what happens. So I have to be on the Buddha Dhamma, I need to be very careful in looking at what is the rupa I am now creating. If I am creating with saragam va chittam, then definitely it can turn out to be kamachanda as a dhamma, or it would be vyapada as a dhamma. If it doesn't work based upon what I wanted it to work, then I am into vyapada. The strongest form of patigha is vyapada. So now when I have vyapada, so I am going to get upset with that person, because actually that person did not do anything to me. But the brochure, the chakku, what I had created for myself, based upon the rupa, now that is destroyed. That had a upada titi bhanga, and I want it back. That is where the problem is. So that is the self view what I have. I want it back, but it is not there. So that is already gone into marana. Now I have soko, that is, I am sorrow. Now I have parideva. Why? I am lamenting, why did I ever do this? Why did I go to that mobile operator and change the plan? Now I have dukkha. Because of this effort what I have taken, I have domanasa. Now I am mentally tortured. Now upayasa, because now I am feeling helpless. I feel helpless. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done this. No, now I'm repenting it, which is remorse feeling. So kukucha is another nivarna which has come up now. So I am restless, udacha. So now what happened? Just because I created a chakku, a sota as atta, that is, I am in control. Jati, Jara, Marana, Soka, Parideva, Dukkha, Dhomanasa, Upayasa. All of these are part of it. So, had I not created this scenario of changing the mobile or going to the mobile operator and asking for a change in the plan, this would never have happened. It would have been very calm. But I did this, so now I have Soka parideva dukkha domanas upayasa sambhavanti. So now I am into all of this. Every action I am now doing is going to repeat itself. So one gone, another one jumps. Another one gone, another one jumps in, because I have an atta feeling. Yeah, what I should have is anatta feeling. The moment I have anatta feeling, the moment I have anicca feeling, so it is much better, because now I am not going to be attached to the Panchaskandha. So this is a very nice sutta from Buddha explaining to Ananda on how he can relieve the pain of Girimananda. I could now take up on the Asubha Sanya, but that is a very big one and it will take more than 2 hours for me to explain. So what I am planning to do is to end at present with Anatta Sanya. Okay, so if any one of you have any questions to ask me, I would like to take that up and then continue on this Girimananda Sutta and the Pena Pindupama Sutta in the coming week with Asubha Sanya and then Pahana Sanya and all of that. So we will complete till Anapanasati over the period of time. So any questions?
Vilas?
Yeah, go ahead. Yes, I can hear you.
Vilas, thank you for explaining Anatta Sanya and actually basically the 5 aggregates theory. So Vilas, could you kindly explain about how the paramitas can actually we all of us had different kind of paramitas in our previous lives. So how actually it's totally a chitta nature. So if I say something about it is something about it's not the physical body, about the Utujakaya, Kammajakaya and Chittajakaya. That is something about the mental procedure. So how this perception come and hit us? So how this perception, this paramitas come and hit us in? I want to know how it happens. So for example, we had a different kind of paramitas in our previous lives. So I want to be like this, and one day I want to ordain or something like that. So this, how this environment help us to how this happens? Could you? I think you have got my question. So please explain it.
Yes, certainly, it's a very nice question. So first of all, paramita is nothing but the perfections. So over the sansara, we have been developing ourselves. So what do we mean by that? We either create a rupa, chakku rupa, sota rupa, ghana rupa, jivva rupa, pottabha rupa, so and mano rupa. So we'll be creating all of this all the time. Depending upon the strength of that, which is nothing but kamma, they come into operation when the right environment has been given to them, whether it is a good one or a bad one, in general. So when we say paramita, it is nothing but creating the energy cycle which will help in completing a loop or a vruta, circle. So once that circle is completed, you have perfected it. So that will come into force as chitta. So let us say dana as one of the virtue. So if we have perfected that, or sila as one of the virtue. So out of the 10 paramitas, we would have been doing something or the other which will create the favorable environment. So as we start doing it, it appears in the chitta. So it will reduce the impact of the other chitta. Just like I can give you another example which happened last week or a week or last week. So I was in a place doing my work, and there is this new kamma which comes in, which is very strong and makes me to accept an assignment for which I need to go outside the place where I am working. So what has happened is that the previous kamma is inoperative, the new kamma has become operative. Similarly, this is how the parameters enter into the mind, into the chitta at the chittakshana, and remove the other kamma which has been operating. So it becomes inoperative. So the rule is that you change your habit. The changing of the habit is through paramita. So if the person has developed the paramita, then he is able to use force or the virya or the effort to change the habit. The moment the habit is changed, his chitta changes. What he is seeing in the chitta is changed. Once the chitta is changed, the kamma becomes inoperative. So once the kamma becomes inoperative, the rupa vedana sanya sankhara vinyana is totally changed. So if he is doing good kamma, that means it has happened due to the good kamma vipaka which has resulted because of the paramita, what he had developed in the past. It automatically comes. So as an example is that now we are discussing on the Buddha Dhamma, but others might be watching television, seeing a cricket match. Some people might be seeing hockey, some people might be going to the movies, some people might be going to the restaurants, some people might be just sleeping, some people might just be eating, some people might be going on a holiday, some people might be playing and musical instrument and so many things, right? So out of all of that, we are now discussing Dhamma. Because of that paramita, the gati, the chitta and the kamma are different for them and different for us. Each person has his own gati and chitta and kamma. So because of the kamma vipaka which was caused due to the kamma, and that caused due to that changes has happened due to the paramita. Because of the perfection or some perfection what we had to a certain level, we are able to understand and grasp the Buddha Dhamma. Even if 20 people were to join here, you cannot really promise that all 20 people can understand the Buddha Dhamma irrespective of the examples being provided, because of their own paramitas of the past. So in conclusion, what I can say is that the paramitas enter into the chitta depending upon the strength. So once it enters into strength, it will remove the other kamma which has been strong. So it becomes inoperative. So it doesn't arise into the chitta. As long as those kamma doesn't arise in the chitta, and this kamma is operational, it will not allow the other kamma to operate. That is, it doesn't, just like a particular seed and a particular tree of that seed will not allow any other type of the tree to or the plant to appear. Similarly, these parameters will not allow any other akusala kamma to appear. Did I answer your question?
Yes. Thank you, and much more merits. It's clear. Vilas, today we have a new Kalyana Mitra. He's connected. So we would like to, if he speaks something to us.
Yeah, certainly.
Just,
I don't think so. There are any further questions?
Hello, Nissaranaye.
Tarun Sarnay Anuna.
I didn't realize I've muted and I was speaking. Anyways, yeah, on the same subject about these paramitas and all that. What I had was now, in order for you to grasp these noble teachings, like the teachings that will get you to the Magapala stages, you have to be a Trihetuka. It's like Alobadosha Amoha.
Correct.
But so I know the Vihetuka, just somebody with Aloba, without those through Chaitasikas. How do you know? I mean, if you ask yourselves, we can't really tell if we are any of them. I mean, is there any way we can contemplate and understand it? Is it? Can we like actually, if you can understand what you're actually saying, what you're trying to say, and the meaning and the idea, what you're trying to give, is that a example or? Tarun Sarnay, if you can just give me a...
Yes, certain. Tarun Sarnay. So, very nice question about it in terms of the Dvihetuka and Tihetuka. You are right that a person having a Tihetuka, that is Raga, Dvesha, Moha not being there, would be the best person, but there is no way to actually say that who is a Dvihetuka and Tihetuka unless the person is a Buddha. Not possible. But a person can himself find it out. That I can answer to you. So let us say, irrespective of whether we are Dvihetuka or Tihetuka, it is about what is actually getting attracted to us. So when, let us say, there is a scene where there is a nice movie which has come in and come to the theaters, supposed to be very nice as per the reviews and the comments provided, and there is a let us say a grand gala dinner followed with dance and some music and some drinks, and there is a Dhamma Desana happening in a particular place around 2-3 kilometers from the place where I'm staying. Out of these three, which one would I select? So if I were to not have interest on going to the movie in general, and I don't like it, not because the movie is bad or I have an aversion towards it, but in general I feel spending 2 hours or 3 hours in watching something is of no relevance to me. And if I were to feel that, okay, the movie and the drinks and other things are seemingly good, but I don't have any interest towards it, but I would like to go and listen to the Desana. So this listening to the Desana, irrespective of whether I know it, I don't know it, but the very fact that I'm going to the Desana shows that I have a certain paramita. Otherwise, the Raga, Dvesha, Moha would be there for going to a movie or going to the singing and the dance and other things. So, let us say if I were to go there and I meet a Kalyana Mitra and he says that, hey, you know what are you going to do in this movie? Somebody is acting and you're watching, and it is somebody's script. You can't change the script to based upon what you think it should be. Don't you see anicca in this? And you say, what is anicca? So then he says that, look, nothing can be your liking. And you're helpless for 2 hours. You have to undergo the torture of seeing whatever you're seeing. You can't do anything about it. So then if there is something which tells you that chitta changes now because of your gati is now changing, then it is certain that you either a dvihetuka or a tihetuka. Most likely not a tihetuka, because then you wouldn't have gone to the movie or to the dance place. But now having gone there, you came to know that this is of no use to you, so the moha went away. So because the moha is not there, the raga and dvesha cannot operate without moha. In some cases it can operate independently. In most of the cases it requires raga and dvesha. So that not being there, you would listen to the desana. So the parameters are now taking shape. So as we keep on developing the parameters, the interest of going to a movie or to some other thing would literally go away. So in that way, person can find out himself or herself how he was earlier and how is he now. So that's a way to analyze whether the parameters are working in terms of dvihetuka and tihetuka. Did I answer your question?
Much merit, yeah. I mean, where I live, obviously, the only way I can listen to sermons is through the internet, audio and video-based thing. So it's very difficult. So another counter question. I mean, I know I've heard in like Deshanas, you need to be in front of a Kalyana Mitra. Like you can be a Sotapanna, but till the sort of the end, till you get to a stage where you attain the Magapala Chitta. So in that particular instance, for example, do you actually need to be in front of a Kalyana Mitra? Because I've heard this sort of energies that they emit will give you an additional boost. Like for example, the Srihima Bodhi, when the Buddha was a bodhisattva and trying to trying to in his quest, that also helped him indirectly. It's like a paramita based place. So if you like listen to Deshanas online, is there any way that you can actually attend any of the palas?
Yes, certainly I had a personal experience of that. And, see, now just like you stay in the UK, I stay in India. So unlike in Sri Lanka, where you have a mushroom of desanas being done by various theros, and you can be going to various of these. That's not possible in India, and that's also not at all possible in UK. So it so happened is that I was listening to one of the desana done by Dharmaya Obai, and then one of the thero there was explaining certain aspect, and he was giving an example of a coffee maker, and that was sufficient for me to get all my chittas into order, and it looked as though I become a Sotapanna then. So even though I did not personally sit in front of the thero while he was doing the desana, but because that I had totally given up myself to whatever he was saying, I still remember now that his example of the coffee maker, that was sufficient for me to get so many things, so many aspects clarified without he explaining anything about that. So then I understood that how this chitta, that the Magga Phala happens, that is anugami to the actual Magga Phala. So then I felt, yes, I have understood the concept correctly. So then onwards, I had an inclination of going and meeting this thero in Sri Lanka. So I, along with this friend of mine, who is another Kalyana Mitra, who came into me in my life as a Kalyana Mitra, through question and answers, we used to discuss. So then we both went and met him, and from then onwards, the journey has been very nice. And then due to the Buddha's teachings, I'm able to explain the concepts, also able to do a desana, and also clarify various aspects. So what I have experienced is that even though it is good to be in front of a thero, because that makes the body language much easier, and there is always an energy into it, but doing an offline like this, like what we are doing today with all the Kalyana Mitras, so that would on Skype or on any medium, that I don't think so that should become a hindrance for us to get into the Sotapanna state.
Much merit. Thanks.
Any other interesting question? Okay, so that was a very nice question. If you have further, I can answer. Okay, so if you don't have any further questions, I would like to conclude the sermon by passing the merit to all the beings. So let all the beings assembled here today, either on phone or Skype or on the online, like on YouTube and or Facebook or any one of these channels which has been streamed live. Let them be free from suffering. Let them attain Nibbana. I would also thank the organizers who have taken this trouble of making sure that everything is working, and the Hetu and Phala which has happened. So let the merits go to them for having done this supreme deed of helping in propagating the Buddha Dhamma to the people. So may they attain Nibbana. For all the beings who have assembled here, as we had requested in the starting of the Desana, let the Buddha teaching go to them and make them attain from the Sotapanna state to the Arhat state, and may they be out of their suffering. May all beings be free from this samsara which is filled with either raga, dvesha, moha. So let us all strive together to eradicate or get rid of the raga, dvesha, moha, which is what causes us to come into the samsara again and again. May all beings be happy. May all beings find peace. Nibbana is the only salvation. Without Nibbana, we would always end up being in one region or the other. So may all beings in the 31 plane of existence